this bang is pretty damn good, to be honest with you. But let me put that down. Ladies and gentlemen, we got another unboxing for you. This box is coming from SGOOD Performance. I hope I said that right. But I saw this, I was interested, and yeah, they went ahead and sent me out. I think it's one of the first 10 for the Perrin Oil Cooler. But yeah, we're just gonna get this unboxed, show you exactly what it is, and we're gonna get this installed today because this has been sitting in my garage for about a week now, and there's a reason for that, and I'm gonna show you exactly why. But yeah, everything nicely bubble wrap. Oh, here is the company that sent it to me, SGOOD Performance. So bracket 1, bracket 2, another bracket, and another bracket. Awesome. Throw all this bubble wrap away and let's go see how we can get this installed in the car, because I have no idea. But before we get to this, I just want to say a big thanks to, put that down, the Car Gazette. They are a premium car automotive subscription box which sends you automotive accessories on a monthly basis. So I'm gonna unbox this real quick and then we'll get on to the install. Oh yeah, every time I unbox this, I get excited. Oh, look at this. Tire dressing applicator, cool. I think this one's from Chemical Guys. Of course, we got another card, another sticker. Oh look, oh, Chemical Guys Tire Shine, awesome. I can always use more tire shine. Of course, we got some t-shirts here, Car Gazette branding on there, and Car Gazette branding on the back. And oh, check this out, new Supra t-shirt supporting the new Toyota Supra. And then check this out, cool. And of course, your typical microfiber towel, which I absolutely love. But let's get this out the way and let's get on to the install. So if you're interested in the Car Gazette, I will put a link in the description below to where you can get this, and I think it starts around $14.99. Oh, I just want to say big thanks to Jeff for providing his under hood shroud. I don't know the exact name for this thingamabobber, but yeah, he came over and let me use it until I find a used one. The reason why I can't use my OEM one is because I cut this part out, because I used to have the Process West Verticooler. But this one, apparently, so this oil cooler bracket apparently is supposed to work with the stock location top mount intercooler shroud. As you guys know, I have the VIS Racing carbon fiber hood, which has holes for this shroud actually. Let me put it up there, and if you still run a top mount intercooler, it's very important you run the underhood shroud to direct airflow directly through the intercooler. I am not an engineer by any means, but that's what everybody's saying, so it kind of makes sense, and I kind of do believe it. But yeah, all we have to do is make these a little bit bigger because the OEM clips won't fit into those holes, and that is really easy to do, to be honest with you. So it's a little bit small. I don't think they all line up perfectly, but it's still better than nothing. If you have the Sibon hood, I don't know what to tell you. You might have to mock something up yourself. Or so before we can go any further, I need to get the car up on the quick jack and take the front bumper off, because right now I do have the Perrin Oil Cooler installed and is right behind the front mount intercooler, and I need to get it out of there, and yeah, that should be a really easy job. Now we have full access to the Perrin Oil Cooler. All I have to do now is take this oil cooler out, take out these lines, and yeah, we can start the install on the top mount oil cooler bracket. Now what I have to do next is undo these lines, drain the oil cooler because I know there's a bunch of oil in there, and yeah, then we can proceed with the install. But first, let me go change the battery out of the camera. These are not on super tight because they don't need to be. All right, so I'm gonna let that drain for a little bit. All right, it's a couple hours later. After spending too much money at Lowe's, I got the hardware I need to install the brackets. First thing I'm gonna do is take the first bracket that looks like this, and I'm gonna install it right here, on top of the intake manifold. And next I'm gonna take one of the C brackets. Oh, camera shaking. I'm gonna take one of these C brackets that attach to the actual oil cooler itself. There are two of them, and I think this one goes on this side. Quote me on it. Might go right there. I have everything loose right now, so nothing is tightened down. So, all right, so I have everything mocked up. One thing you want to remember is to have your OEM intercooler bracket right here. So when it extends out this way, I don't know how to explain it. Everything is really loose, as you can see. And I have the oil cooler. I just took the brackets off that come with the stock Perrin oil cooler, and I'm gonna try everything out. And everything just slides into, oh, there you go. Everything just slides into that channel right there. And yeah. So let me get some hardware for the top so I can bolt this in. I'm gonna tighten everything down. Then I'm gonna put my shroud onto the hood and we should be good to go. Oh, I gotta put the lines in, of course, most important part. So I am missing a few nuts and bolts, but that's easy. I need 4 more of these to tighten these down because there's 4 on each side. I only have 4 of them right now, 4 that I could find laying around. So I'm gonna have to run to the store and get those, but even without those, you guys get the idea of how it's going to look. All right, so the oil cooler is loosely installed. Everything fits just fine, as I said earlier. Just make sure you have your stock intercooler bracket, which is right down there. And yeah, so this oil cooler bracket comes with a lot of extra room, so if things aren't lining up correctly, just make sure you don't tighten everything down right away. Keep everything loose. Then once you have everything positioned where you want it to be, then you can go ahead and tighten it down. It also helps to have a helping hand to hold things while you tighten things down. So my only worry right now is, will it line up with the hood shroud, which I need to do. And yeah, because you want to make sure air is forced into the oil cooler. I'm quickly running out of light, so I gotta get this done really fast. Shouldn't have spent all that time at Lowe's. I'm gonna have to rethink this a few times as how I'm gonna route the oil cooler lines. I just don't want the lines to rub on anything metal, so I'm gonna try to do this as neatly as I can. And while I'm doing this, I just want to address something. I've had a few questions about people asking me what I think about the S209, and really, I don't have an opinion on it, to be honest with you. With only 200 units being released, I mean, it's pretty much unattainable to me. So an MSRP, maybe $50,000, $60,000. Dealer markup is going to mark it up 10, 20 grand. I mean, at that price, I mean, you're talking about $60,000, $70,000. You're looking at a GT350, a ZL1, which has 600 horsepower. To me, it just doesn't make sense unless you are a super diehard enthusiast. I'm glad there's a bump in horsepower to 341. But the one thing that gets me is kind of laughable in a way, you know, no offense to you guys if you dig it, is the whole intercooler spray. I mean, instead of that, I wish they would have focused more on oil cooling. If it is intended or meant or marketed to be a capable track car, I would have preferred that they address oil cooling and underbody aero. I think that would have been much better instead of whole intercooler spray that was in the STI in what, 04, I think, 04 and up. But yeah, other than that, I don't know what to tell you. The fender flares are pretty cool, but oh, and one last thing, this S209, I really wish they carried over the Recaros that are in the Japan ST08. As you can see, they included the American version with the big Recaros. If you've seen the previous version S208 and those Recaros are actually pretty dang nice. That's my thought on the S209. I don't want to make a separate video on it. Totally unattainable. But one thing that really caught my attention this year, to be perfectly honest with you, was a new GT500. You know, dealers gonna mark the crap out of that one too. That to me is just awesome. I mean, an American car with a dual clutch transmission. If you look back at around 2004, the STI and the Mustang kind of indirectly competed against each other. They were both around 30 grand with 300 horsepower, and you can just see how much the Mustang has evolved over the past, what, 15 odd years. That's just my honest opinion. You guys might hate me for saying that, but I just gotta speak the truth sometimes. If you don't like what I said, sorry. But here we are, oil cooler is loosely installed. I was gonna see if I can just zip tie these so it doesn't rub against all of this other stuff. And but so far I'm happy with this bracket. My main worry was the oil cooler lines, but so far looks like it's just gonna do just fine. And one comment I know I'm going to get is oil cooler is going to be more effective. In the front, yes, you know, you guys are probably right. I really wanted to try out this top mount oil cooler bracket. You guys know I do have a front mount intercooler, so it sits behind, the oil cooler sits behind the front mount intercooler, so it kind of impedes some of the airflow. But we will see how effective the shroud is at cooling the oil cooler when I do drive this around. I have to agree with you, it might not be as effective on top mount due to all the heat from the engine coming up from the bottom. I agree with that 100%. Right now my oil temperatures do stay below 200 degrees when driving. Still better than not having an oil cooler at all, especially if you guys do performance stuff with it, track, autocross, whatever. An oil cooler is only going to help. These Subaru engines do run hot, which is the reason why I mentioned the S209 should have had better oil cooling. So it is now the next day, and it just got too dark yesterday and I couldn't finish filming, but everything is not final. I know I got a zip tie right here that just looks nasty. So looks like the shroud lines up almost perfectly with the oil cooler, although since this is small and this is a lot bigger than the actual oil cooler itself, just doesn't seal, you know, perfectly. So, but nothing I can do about that. Temperatures seem exactly where it was before, but keep in mind that temperatures are in the 40s, 30s to 50 degrees depending on the time of day. So it is winter time, so can't really test it until it's summertime. But just a quick cold start. So we've been driving for a little bit on this little back road here, and so far the oil temperatures are staying in the 160s. And I don't know if it's gonna get any higher unless I really get on it. Link below to the brackets if you guys are interested, if you guys do have an oil cooler. They have it for the Perrin Oil Cooler, also for the Mishimoto Oil Cooler if you have that, and pretty simple install. And the guys at SGOOD Performance answered my questions right away when I had trouble. So yeah, like I said, link in the description below, and we will talk to you guys later. Updates to follow, and peace out.